Boys, girls, all my drumaholics out there, welcome back to Otherobert. I'm Joe, joined here by
Robert. We're actually together instead of a Google Hangout. We're together.
Yes, and we're together for possibly the greatest time of the year. That's the list season.
Yes. We have lists. This video from the title: Top 5 Best Television Shows of 2015.
Okay, so we're going to be doing a series of lists, and we're starting off with a big one, like Rob said, best TV shows. So let's just get right into it. Rob, honorable mentions?
My two honorable mentions would go to BoJack Horseman and to Orange is the New Black. Both Netflix series.
BoJack Horseman, honorable mention, huh?
Yeah, I don't love it as much as you do, but I want it on the list. They're two different lists, but they're similar list.
BoJack Horseman and Orange is the New Black, God.
Netflix series.
Yeah, that's not too similar.
No, but they're two series. My list is very random in comparison to yours.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have a more of a widespread taste for my shows.
Okay.
What about you?
For me, two honorable mentions. The Flash, I really wanted to get it on the list this year. Phenomenal. What we saw in 2015 with the second half of season 1 and first half of season 2, both just phenomenal halves of their respective seasons. Wanted to get it on, couldn't get it on. South Park came back strong this year. I'm happy to say that it is somewhere in this video, whereas last year I hated that season so much.
Which we covered like 90% of those episodes too?
Literally 90%, yes.
Yeah, I think the same with season 19 as well. And season 19 was much better than 18.
Oh yeah. So glad to say it's honorable mention at least. It wasn't as good to be on this list though, because we had some good TV shows this year.
We did. The way I structured my list, because I don't like to really rank things that I have a preference to, I just am doing them in terms of just there's no preference. There's no true preference the way that they're done. But these are my top 5 favorite shows of 2015. My first one is Parks and Recreation, which ended in February, so it does count, even though it started before that. And I loved that show. Season 7 was fantastic, and that would be my number 5, because it also was the first one to end of the shows too. What was your number 5?
All right. Daredevil comes to a shock to many people because I feel like a lot of people are expecting it to be higher. And Daredevil was great. That's why it's on this list. Like I said, this list is great. And opposite of Rob, I am ranking all my movies. So number 1 is truly my number 1. 5, it's towards the bottom here, but it was still amazing. And every single TV show on this list is great. No exception for Daredevil. And it really set the pace for what we're going to come to expect from these Marvel Netflix TV shows, which so far have been outstanding.
However, it is a top 5 list, so it's pretty good to be at the bottom.
Yeah, absolutely. The TV this year was so good.
Yes.
I think it was actually better than movies.
Yeah, I enjoyed more shows this year than TV.
It's a strong year for television.
Or movies. My number 4 actually is Daredevil.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
there you go.
So our lists are relatively similar. At least I'm pretty sure 2 more will be the same.
So far, yeah. We don't know the list, but
No.
we can assume.
We're similar anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my number 4 is Daredevil. I really enjoy the Netflix shows. I just think there's something special about Marvel Netflix. They're very creative. I never really got to discuss Netflix or Daredevil. We did discuss Jessica Jones, but that's a different topic. But I just really, really enjoyed Daredevil so much. It's so funny. Wilson Fisk is a great villain.
Outstanding.
He's amazing. He's terrifying.
Yeah. What they were able to do, they humanized them.
Yeah.
In such a way that is kind of rare to see in terms of these superheroes, especially Marvel, these superhero movies.
Yes.
And TV shows.
I also love how they connect to the Marvel movies too.
Absolutely.
I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
So what's your number 4, Joe?
My number 4 is BoJack Horseman.
So similar list, just different spots.
Yeah, I believe it was actually number 4 last year too. But I like season 2 better. It just shows you how good television was this year. But BoJack Horseman season 2 was great, and it continued what it started in season 1, but really just turned up the notch. BoJack Horseman continues to be a very interesting character, as well as a very funny show. But how deep it gets for an adult animated show,
It's intense.
BoJack's
a really good show.
It's unprecedented, really, in terms of how deep this adult animated show, because that's what it's considered, goes.
Yeah.
So Netflix is onto something special with BoJack Horseman, and I'm expecting big things in the future for it.
I liked it. I like BoJack a lot. We talked about BoJack for days.
Yeah.
When we were watching it.
The story was just this past season 2,
So good.
was outstanding.
Yeah. My number 3, and this is for all you onesiders who watch this, is Once Upon a Time. And I'm just giving that to you guys because I talk about the show so much. We talk about the show a lot. It's sort of the bread and butter now of the channel. I thoroughly like the show. It's number 3 because I cover it so much. It can't be number 1. It's not that great. But it's just a really good show. And I thought the Dark Swan was a pretty cool arc. Hit or miss at some points, but pretty good. So Once Upon a Time would be my number 3 just because of how much I like to talk about it.
Spoiler alert for me, Once isn't on my list. I know.
It's shocking.
It's not on my list because of how hard television was this year.
Yeah.
Really, I wanted to throw it on here. I couldn't find the room for it. Even the honorable mention, because everything was just so strong this year. However, once, 4B we had in 2015.
Yeah, 4B was a mess, but with 5A, with Camelot, I like that.
I think 4B is what did it for me. If 5A was hit or miss, but if 4B was better, I think it could have made it to the list, but I think 4B really just kind of kept it off this list here. But nonetheless, moving on, number 3 for me is Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty
It's a good one.
was so funny for season 2. It
Yes,
is
yes.
Okay, so I mentioned South Park in my honorable mention. South Park used to be my favorite show in terms of comedy because it always had me laughing. And while season 19 of South Park did have me laughing, Rick and Morty season 2 had me laughing so much more.
Yeah, we covered. I think we covered every episode of that.
We did. Yeah, we covered every episode of that. Rick and Morty season 2 was phenomenal. Same thing with BoJack Horseman. It took everything from season 1 and just turned up the notch. I mean, in terms of story, it's so creative with their episodes. The Purge one stands out to me. Definitely.
Yes, it was so good. And Rick and Morty was a show I didn't think I would like, and I ended up really enjoying it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm glad
Very
it's on
creative.
this list.
And like I said this in last year's video when I made it. It's like Futurama with South Park humor in many ways, and kind of like its own kind of interpretation of that. And it manages to be so unique and so interesting. And the humor was, I think, unparalleled in terms of television this year.
It's extremely creative.
Yeah, absolutely.
My number 2, I was going to say 4, but that's wrong. My number 2 would be Jessica Jones, another Marvel Netflix or another Netflix series.
Me too.
Oh, so our number 2, I'm pretty sure our number 1's the same.
Yeah, our number 2
and number 1 are the same. We did not
no
construct the list together, I swear. So
just shows you how good the show was.
Yeah, no. Or how much we have in common, but
yeah.
I really loved Jessica Jones. I mean, everyone binges it, but like I binged it so fast, and like I lost sleep over it. I just loved it. I watched it in like a day.
Yeah,
it was a fantastic series. Jessica herself as a character is really creative. The Man in Purple, or the Purple Man, he's awesome too. I think everything about that show was better than Daredevil.
Yeah, exactly. I keep saying it took what it did last time and turned up the notch, but that's kind of what happened with Jessica Jones. Daredevil was outstanding in its own right, and Jessica Jones kind of turned it up even just a little bit more. I mean, you even look at the Wilson Fisk Daredevil, I'll say rivalry, I guess.
Yeah.
They were the focus for the season, but there's still some other stuff going on, and same can be said for Jessica Jones, but it really put down the forefront. There was some episodes where the primary focus was really just Kilgrave and Jessica Jones, and really you saw that
there is
confliction.
One of my favorite episodes was when Kilgrave tried to be good.
Yeah.
I love that. It was a fantastic episode.
It just, again, it kind of humanized him a little bit, the enemy, but then it took what you thought was humanizing him and really just showed you there is no humanizing. He's a monster.
Yep.
And there's something to be said for that. It got pretty deep sometimes, and I think Marvel Netflix is doing something very interesting, something we wouldn't expect. Jessica Jones was very, very rated M for mature.
Yeah.
That was just R rated. That was not what you expect from superhero. for people who don't read comics.
Yeah, and
just
which we
see the
don't.
movie. Right. So we just see the movies and everything. We see, kind of the cliche kind of superhero movie. And you look at what happened with Daredevil and now Jessica Jones, and this is taking it to the next level.
Yeah.
This is really
so much better.
opening, I think, a lot of people's eyes to what you can actually do with these kind of stories.
Yep. And for number 1...
We could probably both say it at the same time because we both know it.
Right.
3, 2, 1.
Hannibal. Yeah.
Not Under the Dome?
No, I'm not Under the Dome. No, unfortunately, Hannibal Lecter. God, Hannibal, which is just a show I never thought I would ever like. I hate horror. I think it's gross. I can't stand it. Loved Hannibal. Loved it.
Hannibal, and I was talking to Rob about this a few days ago. Yeah. Hannibal managed to kind of put itself in its own league to me, which is outstanding. There's only a few shows that ever kind of get up there, if you know what I'm saying. And Hannibal is one of those shows. Hannibal sadly ended this year. However, it will go down for me as one of my favorite television shows of all time.
Yeah.
Just
Hannibal was unjustly ended.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Still a great ending. For what it still serves as a great ending. Still a little open mystery there, but not in a way that's kind of insulting or kind of mean about it. It definitely serves as an ending, and it looks like there's a lot of new things from Mads Mikkelsen.
Yes, I mean he's going to be in Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange, Star Wars. He's got a lot of things lined up, so it's good to see that. I would think that this kind of opened the door for him a little bit.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he lost the show that we both love, but he's going in other directions. Hopefully, Udancy will get some stuff too, because he's great as Will Graham. The acting on that show is phenomenal. My favorite thing about Hannibal is it's 13 episodes, and I think shows that are compressed down without filler,
right,
the writing is that much better.
I mean, even if you look at that in terms of halves, you had the Mason Verger half,
Yep,
and you had the
Red Dragon, right?
The Red Dragon half, and they both were so good. Both. There wasn't a weak part this season.
Not one.
The story kept going. You were intrigued from start to finish. It did something. Season 1, I didn't think that was the case. Season 2,
Season 1's a little boring.
Right, and then Season 2, you're kind of intrigued, but because of that flash forward that starts off with, I felt like it was kind of building towards that. Season 3, you were just genuinely interested in every single episode.
Season 3 is really good.
Season 3 was outstanding, and I think it's one of the best seasons of television we've seen in quite some time.
And it also was a beautiful ending.
And beautiful ending, and Love Crime was the perfect song
Best
to use.
Love it.
Everything was just done perfectly for this season. I had no faults with this season at all.
No, we covered a lot of Hannibal too on another channel, unfortunately, but it was still a really great show.
Absolutely, and that's why Hannibal's our number 1.
Yeah, and
for 2015,
and why Jessica Jones was our number 2.
And Jessica Jones. Jessica Jones was great, but Hannibal just
above
was in a league of its own. If you guys watching have not seen Hannibal,
watch Hannibal.
Like Rob said, he did not think he was going to like it at all. You didn't like Silence of the Lambs, right?
Nope.
This is such a completely different interpretation of the entire story. And I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. Everyone out there.
What's he going to do?
Everyone loves Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal, and I do too. But I'm going out on a limb. I think Mads Mikkelsen.
Get back up there.
I think
really too excited.
I think he was better.
I've never seen Silence of the Lambs.
I think Mads Mikkelsen was better.
But I wouldn't like it. But now I think I would like it because I think Hannibal is so great. Mads Mikkelsen is the Hannibal.
Absolutely.
Hannibal the Cannibal.
It was such a different interpretation
of
awesome. Hannibal compared to what we've seen in terms of Silence of the Lambs and everything. So, and Season 3 kind of brought us to that point that we're kind of familiar with the character, but at the same time just doing some different things and not what you expect.
So those are our list. Different but similar.
Right.
Pretty similar. So share your list in the comments below. Do you agree with our list? Do you disagree? Would you re-rank them? Anything you want to discuss, please go with it, and we'll talk to you guys in the comments about it. Thank you for checking out this video. We got a few more dual videos like this coming up this week.
And did I just get a lot of hate for the Mads Mikkelsen? I feel like everyone loves Anthony Hopkins. That's why.
I doubt it. I think you're okay.
I think I got some hate.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
And subscribe, because it takes around that much effort.
Just that much.
Just that much effort to do so.
So, I'm Robert. That is Joe. We're done. Bye.